7, 8, I was like a good girl. And then in year 9, I started hanging around with all the wrong people, like not attending school properly, getting involved in like stuff that I shouldn't have been getting involved in. Whatever I've done, like I was always able to go to the LSU and talk to them about it. And like Miss George and Miss St. Louis have helped me so much.
This is the Learning Support Unit where myself and my colleagues are based. Our role is to ensure that everybody is being taught. They're all being included. Yeah? No student should be excluded, and we're just trying to make sure that they're overcoming the barriers and getting them back into the classes.
We're keen to have an educational centre where students, for a variety of reasons, could need some extra support. I've put a very senior member of staff in charge of that learning support unit. I mean, Stephanie's a wonderful manager with teaching background, obviously, but I wanted the balance between qualified teachers within the learning support unit and also the mentors and that team having quite high status within the school.
The learning mentor is able to perhaps deal with issues that may not be appropriate for a classroom teacher to deal with.
Good afternoon, LSU.
And what they're able to do when they're working with a learning mentor is perhaps have the freedom to express themselves more frankly.
We're quite with it down here. So we know, obviously we know the language, and, certain words which, a teacher may hear and think, oh, what's that? Actually, it's quite harmless.
Teachers can label students and put them off from like learning and everything. But like the LSU teachers, it's like completely different. They're not like teachers at all. It's not even like they're part of the school. It's like they're like your friends, like someone you can go talk to.
Our relationships with them are really, really effective, and I think that's one of the most important things of our role, is to have effective relationships with our students.
And they're just like the kind of people that give you chances all the time. Like even if you mess up, or like for me, I messed up a lot of times. They've given me chances over and over again. So without them, I don't think that half of our school would have the confidence that they have now.
So just keep going until we get some regular patterned results, and then we will actually start making a note of them.
I'm a specialist science teacher, so obviously my role as a science teacher is to deliver the scientific curriculum. That doesn't mean to say that I won't have an overview of, issues and problems that maybe some students have got. They may want to come and speak to me. But in terms of dealing with each individual student, obviously it's not possible for me to actually have 30 individual relationships with my year 11 on that level. And I think that what we're talking about is that the learning mentors are specialists in their area and can give the students the time that they need.
If you've got things going on at home that are really difficult in your life and you have to keep on thinking about them in the classroom, and they come to us and kind of offload, leave that with us and say, okay, this has been really difficult this morning, I had an awful morning so far, and then they've told somebody and they go into class and they concentrate on science or maths or whatever their lesson is.
I was actually having family problems, and it was really hard for me because my parents were getting divorced, and on top of that my mum, she's disabled, and I found it really hard to accept what's happening.
Regina is a young carer, so she actually has done the main care for her mum for years now, and often she finds that other students don't understand what that means for her life and what it means for her to concentrate in the classroom.
I was underachieving because people were putting me down, like some of the lessons I had to miss. Sometimes I didn't come to school because people were bullying me too much. We're going to actually design candles, so I actually made one earlier on Monday, and I actually did it freehand.
She's much better now, she's much more confident. She's helping me lead the craft club, which she's doing really well in. She's made a lot of progress. The craft club, it runs every Wednesday lunchtime. Inside the LSU, it is about 10 girls. There's loads of girls on the waiting list because there's just not enough space for the girls, so it's quite popular. It is only for year 7s. We picked year 7s because obviously they've come from primary school, it's a transition for them, it's a big step for some of them. And the art club is especially for the girls who might struggle with self-confidence, self-esteem, who are a bit shy and a bit quiet.
I want to become an English professor. I want to teach at a university probably, and I want to write my own books as well, because I write quite a few things, and like I write poems and everything. I've got a condition called eczema, which tends to flare up time to time, and there's times when it's really good and when it's really bad, and when I'm in school there's times I can cope with it and it's not so irritating. There's times when it just gets really bad that I can't move at all, and my whole body's stiff, and that when I try to move it's painful.
One of my students is Aksa, who's actually on my caseload because she has a medical condition. She's missed a lot of school over year 8 and year 9. Because of it, she's in and out of hospital all the time. And really how I've helped support her is set up meetings with the nurse. We've discussed Aksa's difficulties. I've communicated with teachers to get work from them so I can send it home to her, because she's a very conscientious child. She really doesn't want to miss out on her schoolwork.
Through the LSU that we did invite the nurse to come and talk to all the children to explain about Aksa's condition, and I think that helped as well, because then they start realising just how much pain and what it exactly was, because a lot of them didn't know what it was, and they felt they had to keep away from her, they might catch it. But once they explained that you can't catch it, it's just a condition that she's got, I think a lot of them were more sympathetic rather than bullying.
And we don't stop. What's going on?
We're at the final stage of our conflict mediation, so the role play that you saw was their sort of conclusion to it, and next week they'll have their test. But it first starts up, I send out a poster to all year 9 classes saying, you know, would you like to join our conflict mediation group? And then when they've signed up, they come in and we just talk about what conflict is, what they think it is.
What's your side of the story?
Well, my mum bought me a pair of trainers, which I didn't really like. I wanted designer ones. And she goes, we couldn't afford them, so I had to wear these trainers to school. And these two started making fun of me.
We talk about the skills that they need, so things like active listening, recognition, communication, and they build upon those skills as the sessions gradually get towards the end. And it builds their confidence, because as peer mediators, once they have done their test and they've passed, they'll be out in the school, they'll be on duty, and the year 7s and 8s will know, okay, so if we've got a bit of trouble here, we can go and see a peer mediator and they can help us resolve our conflict.
So how do you think this problem should be solved?
Well, if they just left my trainers alone and got on with life how it should be.
Hello, Manisha. Hi. Thanks very much for that stuff you did on Monday evening. That was great. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. The students are not one-dimensional. You know, they come to us with a range of difficulties, needs, desires, ambitions, and the school more and more is having to address that. They spend an awful lot of time here. In Plashett, for example, is a real community school. You only need to come here on an evening event. The hall is packed. Parents, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters. It really is a family, and the students recognise that. And I think that's one of the key things about the mentoring in this school and the learning support unit, that even when things are difficult, the students will come to us and they will say, this has happened, I think I need help. And because we've already opened the door a little bit and we've had that conversation, it's easier for the student to approach us. And that's what we want. We want the students to be able to approach us, to get the help they need, so they can really maximise their achievement. That's what it's really about.
One of the things we've developed over the last couple of years under Stephanie's leadership is the Student Leader Programme. It was on our school development plan that we wanted to give students an opportunity to have a greater influence of the school, take greater responsibility.
And we're going to introduce our latest student leader, Baktava, yes? She's our latest recruit. Ladies, do we want to welcome her as a student leader? Yeah? They have a very positive role in school. They help us with the management of the school. They do duties at break time and lunchtime, and they will help out in areas where possible little incidents could occur. You know, it's like the main walkways, like the bridge, the halls, the canteen, on the field. The training they receive helps them out in, if they see an incident happening, they know that how to come and report it. If a student tells them something, they know about confidentiality and who to go to with it if a student discloses something to them. So students get to know them in this role.
It is something that shows the students themselves that they are part of the school, their views are being listened to and they're being trained to help their fellow peers as well as the staff of the school. So that's been really, really fantastic.
Shama, what about what you said? Because for you, this has been quite a journey.
The benefits for me was that like I did gain more confidence and stuff, and like it helped me like achieve other things, like when I ran for young mayor and stuff like that. And like when student leading first started, they gave out the application forms, and then it was in my form class, and I thought, oh, I shouldn't apply for it, I wouldn't really get a place or anything. But I thought I have nothing to lose, so I applied. I did my interview and stuff, and then they gave me a place on probation. So if I did go wrong, they said to me, that's it, you can't do it anymore.
Shama, for example, had issues with truancy, poor behaviour. She had been on report in year 9, had to report to me on several occasions for issues regarding truancy. And she was not an obvious candidate for student leader.
But it's gave me like so much more confidence, and like it's given me so much like leadership skills and stuff. And like it looks good when I go to colleges because they're curious about what it is, because not many schools have student leading. So it's given me so many skills that other students won't have.
The reaction from the other students was quite surprising because they could not believe that she'd been given this privilege. But equally, it meant that it means that she has an understanding of perhaps some of the year 10s and other girls in her year group, and she can talk with credibility. So when she says, come on girls, we can talk about this, it doesn't have to escalate, they believe her.
Family problems and bullying in school, that can really affect how you achieve. I mean, if I give an example of myself, in year 7 and in year 8, I used to get bullied quite a lot, and every time I used to enter the class, it was some sort of phobia, you know, like following behind me that, oh, that person's talking about that, you know. And it's like I had this, you know, you become like a psychological patient. And I had this thing that, oh my God, that person's backchatting about me. What do I do? What do I do? And I just, you know, started to feel really, really ill.
Safa, what have you got so far on these, on the presentation?
I think it would be best if we start off, you know, by just telling them what student leaders can do.
Safa came to something, she came at the end of either year 7 or beginning of year 8, which was very difficult for her. By the time she came into Plashit, everybody had made their friendship groups. She cried such a lot. She was so distressed. We worked very, very hard with her in making sure that, you know, she got to her lessons okay. We found her friendship groups. There was a lot of just keeping her together.
As a student leader, you have to be on duty all the time, and you need to make sure that the school environment is peaceful and a happy place to live.
She has come along. She made new friendship groups. She strived. She's an excellent student leader, team leader.
Miss St. Louis, who has been helping me so much, she helped me, you know, how to cope with people, how to, you know, deal with people and how to deal with these situations. So I'm very thankful to her, and now I believe whatever I am, you know, just because of how they actually helped me throughout the whole year.
I think any opportunities that are available to us in terms of development of social and emotional well-being of young people is all for the betterment of their whole development. And what we hope is they will actually be more rounded individuals and be stronger in terms of you know, the challenges they face when they leave this very secure, very positive environment.